All right, guys. How we doing?
Great.
Awesome. Appreciate everybody coming out. Just want to welcome everybody to our Saturday training. This is your first time here. This is the most important thing that you can do in our business as far as like the lowest level of commitment. You want to make sure that you show up. In most things that in life, if you want to be successful, you have to show up, right? If you want to be successful in school, you got to show up. If you want to be successful in sports, you got to show up. If you want to be successful, obviously at a job, right? You got to show up. If you want to be successful at the gym, you got to show up. And anytime you get into something and you want to succeed and you have a mentor and you have a coach, you're not always going to understand why we tell you the things that we tell you, right? When your coach says, no, you got to run even more, even after you're tired, right? Or you still got to do 2 more reps, even after you feel like you can't do it. Even though you don't understand, it doesn't mean that it's not the best thing for you. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And as your coach, I am telling you that showing up has made me who I am today. It's molded me, it's affected me, it's changed me, it's developed me into who I am today. So showing up is very, very important. Now, once you get in the habit of showing up, then we can focus on other things as well, right? But it's very difficult in Primerica to win, and like I said, in anything, if you don't show up. I want to tackle a subject today that is extremely important, and it does affect a lot of us, and it's this comparison that Primerica is a multi-level marketing company. And I want to talk about that because ultimately, right? Okay, so the reason this topic is coming up is we just came back from the Bahamas, and when you sit through those meetings, there's a lot of updates. The corporate side of Primerica comes up, and our chief marketing officer comes up, and they tell us what types of changes they're trying to make to help us get better results as we go out there and we talk to people, right? And they said that they are working with brand consultants and image consultants so that we can change the perception of Primerica. Now, Primerica, the company, doesn't really need to change, but to some extent, the perception of our company needs to change. So what they said was they are going to go into Google, and just like every other company does, we're going to suppress some of that negativity. We're going to challenge some of that negativity, so that when people go on Google, we're going to have the positive things show up, the good reviews show up, and more of the local offices will show up, right? So whoever's typing into Google, and even when they type in life insurance financial advisor, they're saying that our names are going to come up, your leadership is going to come up, maybe your name is going to come up if you're licensed. Does that make sense? But at the end of the day, no matter how much they clean it up, there's certain aspects about Primerica that people are just never going to be able to get away from in terms of comparing us to a multi-level marketing company, right? So number one, if you've ever met people in a multi-level marketing company and people that have been doing it for a while, what do you notice about them? They're actually pretty happy. So number one, people don't need to be hating on organizations that have a lot of people where their people are happy. Mm-hmm. And the people in multi-level marketing companies are not people that are all mentally challenged and they can't make good decisions. That is completely false. It's actually the opposite. When I meet people that are in multi-level marketing companies, they are actually very sharp. These are conscious decisions that they've made. Some of them have even researched it. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm advocating the way that they do business, and I don't think that I would ever do one. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and hate on them and make it seem like I choose to do it. I have very sharp clients with 6-figure investments that have affiliations to multi-level marketing companies, and because they're clients of mine, they've asked me in the past to come to their meetings. Guys, you wouldn't believe it. There's multi-level marketing companies out there right around in Tyson's Corner. They have their meetings in hotels where everybody in that meeting is a doctor. They all have degrees. Many of them make 6 figures, right? So if somebody came to me, let me put it this way. If someone said, you only have 2 options in life, you can work an average job, make average money, like let's say 80, 90, 100 grand, That's all you'll make, and it's going to be 9 to 5, and you're going to have a boss, and you're going to be an employee, or you can go work with a multi-level marketing company and try to make it there. I would choose MLM. Because at a job, if I became a pharmacist, it was get rich never, right? At MLM, it's a far shot, right? But it's get rich maybe, and I'll take the maybe over the never. Does that make sense? And at least I get to be my own boss, and at least I get to have some control. But at the end of the day, right, whenever people say, is Primerica a multi-level marketing company, I first want to ask them, what is their impression of MLM? People say, oh, pyramid scheme. What is that to you? What are some of the things that we get back? What is an MLM? What do people think a pyramid scheme is? What is it? You hire people, right? People say, oh, because you guys hire people, you're a pyramid scheme or a multi-level marketing company. What else do people say? The person at the top makes all the money. What else?
You have to sell a product. You make money off of it.
You make money off other people, right? So these are the main things that we hear. So let's talk about, first, what I do is I like to chat, before I get defensive about them talking about our company in a negative way or comparing us to other stupid companies, right? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to challenge the mindset. Do legitimate businesses hire people?
Yes.
Yes.
Right? Of course they hire people. Do legitimate businesses have people at the top, individuals at the top that make money off the people that work for them?
Yes.
It doesn't matter what type of company you get involved with, right? There's always somebody at a higher level than you that's going to be making more money than you. If I own a landscaping company, right, I'm going to make money off my landscapers. And that was the next thing, making money off people. People act like this is some type of criminal act, but every day when they go to work, they're being overridden by somebody else. You know, a lot of people in this area, the biggest money maker, if you meet the most successful, wealthiest people in this area, it's government contracting. And the reason why government contracting is so profitable is because, as we know, the government wastes a lot of money. And companies capitalize on that. And they say, hey, you know what? We will, government agency, we will fix your website. And the company says, and the government says, oh, you will? Okay, well, for every person you have working on this website, we will pay you $200 an hour. That's an obscene amount of money. The government for one employee is giving that company $400,000. But the company knows what? In order for us to hire someone to fix that website, Richard, we only have to pay them $100 an hour. So they charge the government $200 an hour. They pay you, the government, the employee of the government contracting company, $100 an hour. And guess what? That company is making money off every person at a rate of $20, $30, $40, $50, $100,000 a year. You guys with me?
Yes.
So that's the main thing, is that in every company, there's people at the top that make money off people at the bottom. Does that make sense? And so in Primerica, what we say is this: look, in every organization, if there's people at the bottom and there's people at the top, and you have a choice, why would you choose to be the person at the bottom forever? At least here, we give you an opportunity to be a person at the top, okay? But let me be real about Primerica for a second. Primerica has 130,000 licensed agents as we speak, and many more people that are not even licensed. And do you know how many recruits we do a month? 20,000. We do 20,000 recruits. Let me ask you this. There's 130, 140, 150,000 people involved in the company, but only 20,000 recruits going in. And you have people like Josh that are all-star recruiters, and Shondell and Jen and all these other people, Peter and Tia, right? And they have 4 or 5 recruits each. So it's not even that 20,000 people got one recruit. It's a few people that are actually recruiting in Primerica. Most people don't recruit in Primerica. Making money off other people. Most people aren't making, although you can in a very good way, most people are not even taking advantage of that. Sheila last year, she made $84,000. She didn't get one override off anybody. Does that make sense? So what is the actual answer here, right? What is the, when people ask, are we MLM? This is the answer that I have for them, okay? So we are not multi-level marketing. We are what we call multi-level compensation. Multi-level compensation. We do have different levels, and every level has a different contract, because we don't want people to come in here like other sales companies and you're frozen at one contract, and the only way that you can make more money is performing at a higher level at that one contract. We want people to be able to get promoted. So we are multi-level compensation. Now this happens all over, and we know it, but we don't put two and two together, and people want to put us in a different box. But let me ask you this. When you go into a car dealership, you have the salesperson. And Alex is the salesperson, and he's working at Ford. And the salesperson, Alex, sells the car. Well, guess who makes money? The sales manager made money off of Alex's sale. And when the sales manager makes money, the finance manager makes money. And when the finance manager made money, the GM made money. And when the GM made money, Mr. Coons made money. And when Mr. Coons made money, Ford the company made money. See, one person transacted and the money flowed all the way up. And a lot of people have never even met Alex before, but they made money on Alex. And we accept that every day of the week. We'll buy cars from a dealership and we'll go into a dealership. What about retail, right? How does that work? So you have the person who's the customer service associate. When you walk up to the register, they sell something, right? Now, who makes more money than the customer service associate? The department manager. Then you have a front end manager. Then you have a store manager. Then you have a general manager. Then you have a district manager. Then you have a regional manager. And then you have Walmart. Multi-level compensation is everywhere, right? So we're not multi-level marketing, we're multi-level compensation. But these are the three things that really set us apart from multi-level marketing companies. Because when you think about multi-level marketing, what companies are they thinking about? Who are they comparing us to? There's Amway. What else? Mary Kay, Avon, whatever it is that people do. There's actually thousands, 10,000 of them, right? So number one, I don't care what those companies say, they get paid to recruit people. Here, we don't get paid to recruit. That's the number one difference out of the few that I'm going to give you. When we recruit someone in Primerica, it costs us money. So Eduardo, that's your name, right? Eduardo comes on board, he pays $125 for a license, but the state of Virginia and FINRA, when he gets licensed, will charge our company $1,000. So he paid $100, but he cost the company $1,000. So instead of making money on recruiting, it's actually costing our company money when we recruit people. I can recruit 100 people and they can all pay that entrance fee and I get absolutely nothing, and they are even due a refund if they decide to leave. This is a big deal because in a multi-level marketing company, what happens is you're just trying to get people to sign up, get people to sign up, get people to sign up, get people to sign up. And what happens is you're making money just from getting people to sign up. That doesn't happen here, right? Number two difference is that we don't have to recruit, right? We do not have to recruit. In a multi-level marketing company, show me the self-employed person with no team that's making 100 grand. Primerica, the majority of the RVPs in Primerica are like that. Few to no people that are making 100 grand. And it's not a bad thing. They choose not to do it. And then of course, the people that we see and we surround ourselves with and we hang around with and the audios we listen to are obviously the mega builders that actually take advantage of that, but you don't have to. So if someone says, oh, Primerica, well, you have to hire people. No, you don't. You can still make 80,000 part-time. So we don't have to recruit. Number three is we sell to the general population. Okay? See, what I'm trying to teach you guys today is a better answer than, oh, all corporations are pyramids. That is not an intelligent way to defend the company or talk to someone that has legitimate concerns or skepticism. I'm teaching you today what the real differences are, right? We sell to the general population. That means that the majority, meaning in the high 90% percentage point, the products we sell are to people that are not involved in Primerica. You don't have to be a Primerica member, right? Out of the 20, 30, 40, 50 sales, for Shaq, 100 sales that he does, how many people in this room bought a policy to contribute to that monthly goal? Probably nobody, maybe one or two. But what happens in a multi-level marketing company is they say, hey, Alex, come join the team. But if you want to be part of the business, you have to buy inventory for yourself. And then you buy inventory, and then you buy inventory, and then you buy inventory, and then you buy inventory. And the way you're making money is just by getting your own agents to buy their own stuff. So through them spending money, then you're making money. Does that make sense? So this is called internal consumption. If I hire 20 people and then those 20 people also buy the product, 100% of my sales are coming from the people that I hired. Does that make sense? It doesn't work like that in Primerica, right? Sheila, don't you wish we had every one of our sales became a recruit? It doesn't work that way though, right? The majority of what we do is just to the general population. So more facts. If you are a multi-level marketing company, you have to, the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, they make you register your company as a multi-level marketing company, and they monitor you. Primerica is not registered as an MLM. We are registered as a general agency for these reasons. The majority of our sales are sold to the general public. It's not internal consumption. I met a guy that was at an airport and he was talking to someone. I just like the way he talks, and I approached him and I asked him, what do you do? And he's in an MLM. This guy went to UNC. He has a master's in accounting, right? One of the sharpest, I say kid because he's 6, 7 years younger than me, one of the sharpest guys I've met, and he's in a skincare company, anti-aging skincare company, right? So at the time he's in his 20s and he's marketing for an MLM company, skincare that'll help you anti-age, which she probably knows nothing about, right? But I've become friends with him, and who knows, maybe one day in the future. I already saw that the government shut down their company and then they changed the name and opened up another one. It was called Miriam, now it's called something different. And he said what's the hardest thing about MLMs is the government requires a 50-50 ratio. The government wants to see that a minimum of 50% of your sales are coming from the general population. And he goes, this is why multi-levels, you hear about them and then they don't exist anymore, because they can't keep up with that. Most of the sales are through the people that they hire, which is why people have a bad taste in their mouth. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they hate MLMs? You talked me into making money and all I did was spend money, and now I have all this inventory and all this crap that I can't do anything with. Of course they're going to be upset. Does that make sense? And so this is the thing. Now, I want you guys to understand, right, that first I want to know, what do you think a multi-level is, right? And then we'll go through all those things, and then we'll talk about why we're not one of those anyways. And you don't have to do any of the things that you don't like about Primerica, right? If you don't like that and that's your preference, and a lot of people come around, they start to understand why we do the things that we do. But as far as making money off people, the only people that have a problem with that are non-entrepreneurs and non-business owners. Business owners get into business so they can make money off other people. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Right? If I'm in a business and I hire people, I have to pay them less than what I'm making so I can turn a profit. That's what business is about. But unfortunately, only 5% of people are entrepreneurs, and 95% of people work for other people, and they're never going to understand this. But here's why I don't feel bad about making money off other people. If I hire Shondell and she's out of college and she's never even taken a finance class and she knows nothing about business, insurance, and investments, and I put her in a position where she can get someone to buy insurance from her, she can get somebody to write her a check for $100,000 for investments or trust her with their retirement assets, and she makes money, I deserve to get paid because she knew nothing when she met me and she went from nothing to something. Does that make sense? And as far as business and finance, she went from, let's say, 0 to hero. The person who helped her do that deserves to make the money. Does that make sense? Everything I put up with Josh for the last few years, right? When he becomes successful, I freaking deserve something. She deserves something for that. That's how businesses work. Right? When you develop people and they become, and that's the main thing. We don't have an inventory. I'm not trying to get you to buy something, and I only make money when you make money. Not when you spend money, Sergio. When you make money, that's when I make money. So you should want me to make a lot of money, because if I'm making a lot of money, that means you're making a lot of money, right? And I'll end with this, right? If you think about it, somebody like a Sheila, she comes in, she has a 6-figure income, her husband has a 6-figure income, and they have near 7 figures saved. So this is not just anyone. She comes in as an agent. Now she goes and she helps her friend. And her friend, let's say John, this happens all the time, is paying $500 a month for insurance. And she goes in there and she goes, "Are you crazy? Why are you paying $500? You should only be paying $100. So Sheila, who didn't know anything about insurance and investments, learns about insurance and investments, goes and sees her client and saves them 80% on their premium. Well, guess what? Client wins big. And because she helps someone win big, then she wins big and she makes a good amount of money. And you know what? Because I trained and developed her, I'm going to make some money. Tell me, who is wrong in this scenario? People making money off people or the clients or whatever. Tell me in this scenario where something bad has happened. And matter of fact, if John can afford a $500 a month policy, he's probably, if he can afford it, he's probably a decently smart guy. And we know Sheila's a very smart lady, right? And I consider myself to be fairly intelligent, you know? So the people who are saying this, we're all 3 of us are smarter than you, right? And that's a joke, but this is how it works. And in a business, we know our manager or our boss, right? Eduardo, you came from the restaurant industry. You accept it. They make more money than you if they're above you. So we accept that the person above us should be making more. But what happens is if Sheila hires Joy and now makes money off Joy, all of a sudden that becomes wrong. So in the first level, right, it's okay that I made money off Sheila, but now if Sheila makes money off Joy, no, listen, when people are helping people and everybody's winning and everybody's better off, there's nothing wrong with that. Does that make sense? So there's always going to be this comparison, but I want you guys to understand why, in my opinion, it's not a legitimate comparison and we're very, very different, okay? So let's get into the announcements today. We have an awesome training with some current